express people. As you're aware, the state is going to polls very soon, in a week's time. I want to first mention that it's always a great pleasure to visit Meghalaya and Shillong and meet the wonderful people here. Today I'm going to raise a few issues in front of you, and I think they're important in the context of the voters making up their minds as to which party and what government can take the state forward for the next 5 years. We've had a previous government here in Meghalaya, which was also voted by the people of the state. But those parties that came together, promising and committing themselves to the development of the state, to provide jobs, economic development, growth, etc. Those same very people today are pulling in different directions, accusing each other of corruption. I think the people want to ask the question that for 5 years when you work together as a team, at that point there were no concerns about the corrupt practices or the allegations that we see today. And I think this mass migration of elected representatives happening from one party to another party is something that doesn't argue very well for our polity. And this state is a wonderful, peace-loving, progressive state. People of Meghalaya are looking for a government, for a party that can actually hold everyone together. And I'm absolutely confident the way that the Congress party has given its candidates this time. In fact, I'm told this is the youngest ever candidate list in the history of Meghalaya. Congress party has deliberately given tickets to young men and women, qualified professionals who have convictions and principles, who are committed to the people, who will really usher in a new era for the state of Meghalaya. I'm told about 10 of our seats out of 60 we have given to women for the first time. So equal participation of young people, professionally qualified individuals and women, I think will reflect the true demography of the state. Potential that we have in the state has not been explored. I think every party, especially the last government, whether it's the BJP or the NPP or other partners, they were quite focused on how to politically realign themselves only to stay in power. The Congress, I think, is committed to enhancing the IT sector, the tourism sector, the economic growth, the investment, the job creation that young people in this city, in this state are aspiring for. The BJP has been in government for the last 8.5 years in New Delhi. They had a government here. And the BJP always talks about the double engine sarkar. Well, they had the opportunity here where they had two governments and double engine. And yet, at the time of elections, now they've gone apart and are doing this finger pointing game. So the BJP stands totally exposed to my mind because while they were in government in Delhi and they had power here, they were not able to deliver what the expectations were. And I think the expectations aren't something that cannot be fulfilled. But look at the way the issue of price rise and unemployment really has taken ground. The issue that we want to fight this election is on how the next 5 years can we curb inflation, create employment, and not just employment. Young people who are qualified often are underemployed. So they're technically qualified, are graduates and postgraduates, but are getting jobs that are below what their qualification should get them. So underemployment, unemployment, lack of investment. What has stopped the government of India in the last 5 years while they were in power here to have more factories, more industry, more manufacturing happening here? That did not happen. So therefore, I am confident that Mr. Pala, Mr. Balaji, all our colleagues here in the state, we have a fresh team, we have fresh candidates, and the state has always had a leaning towards the Congress party. I dare say that most of the political leaders in the state, no matter where they are today, they have originally come from the Congress party because it was Congress and our leaders in Delhi which actually had the commitment and the willpower to create a state, to name it in such a beautiful fashion. So the relationship between the Congress party and the state of Meghalaya is generational. It's been there for decades, and now is the time of reckoning where people have many options, as you know. There are many parties which are trying to spread their wings into the state. There are many parties which are playing a game of who can be the power broker in the end. But the Congress party's long history, long association, commitment, and performance, the voters of the state are very well aware. Therefore, I am absolutely sure that our candidates, our manifesto, the way the Congress party is campaigned, we may not have the resources to match the BJP, for example, but we have the people's willingness, the support, and the blessings of our voters. So I think we will do very well, and the next government will be formed, will be a Congress government, and in other states also we are doing very well, whether it's Nagaland, Tripura. Next election will be in Karnataka, which is the last state. So the Congress party, I think, is well placed to perform very, very well in Meghalaya. And like I said, across regions, across age groups, across gender, the Congress party has a resonance which no other political party has. And I think Meghalaya is destined, and I hope that people will bless us on voting day and give our party a thumping majority. I'm happy to answer any questions.
But 17 of your MLAs have left the Congress. So you think that it is quite a big step back for your party?
Well, I think the voters are very smart. They know who they're voting for, and the party ideology and the party is far more important. People who have left, I think they can best answer what the reasons were. But we give them an opportunity, we gave them a platform and a party symbol, and the voters elected them. Yet they choose to move. I think this also is an exposure of sorts that the people of the state will see. I don't want to comment on each individual, but I think generally as a party, as an ideology, Congress stands firm. People come and people go. But the state of Meghalaya, the people of the state are committed, and I think are leaning towards the Congress party. People come, people go. In fact, a lot of the parties that are contesting elections here have all borrowed leaders from other parties. So the one that has stayed strong is the Congress party.
Where does Congress stand given the large amount of money to parties, all parties?
Like I said, we can't match BJP. It has the electoral bonds are designed such a way to help the incumbent, and majority of the money that comes for donations, in fact, I'm not wrong, about 90% of the money goes to the BJP, and the BJP makes no bones about deploying the resources. But money alone, I think, cannot win elections. Here is a state where people have emotions, they have understanding of the cultural heritage, of the traditions of the state, who are committed and who are partners in their joy and sorrow. Those sentiments actually play a big role. And therefore, that's why I say that people who come now, I think the Honorable Prime Minister is visiting here, other, I think the Home Minister is here. But what are they offering? Except for empty promises for the future. That begs the question that जब आप सत्ता में थे for 8 years in Delhi, 5 years here, what did you do that time? That question remains unanswered. All these flowery speeches and promise of the future is all well and good. What about when you had the chance, when the opportunity? However you may have formed the government, but you had power. What did you do that time? And what happened to your partner that you were sharing power for 5 years and now suddenly you are accusing each other? It shows that it is pure, simple, selfish, power-centric game. Deploy resources, take on opponents when the time suits you, and then part ways when it doesn't suit you. And who's to say that post-election they will not realign again? No one is committing to that. So I think even the BJP is not saying no to anybody. So this open-ended game of political maneuverability and buying and having people cross over, the state has seen enough of that. So I think that one stable, strong ideology is the Congress party, and therefore people will vote for our candidates.
You said that Congress will form the next government in Meghalaya. So are you confident that the Congress will get the absolute majority seats?
We are fighting every single seat. And there are some parties that have some strong votes in some part of the state. Congress is a party that has presence and good candidates across all 60 seats. And we are fighting to get a simple, clear majority. That's the aim. And I'm sure we'll achieve our aim.
But your political opponents are alleging that the Congress is a single state.
Well, they can keep alleging, but I think voters know best. It is very wrong in a democracy to prejudge what the people's wisdom is. I have full faith in the people of the state. I have full faith in our workers. And like I said, we have a new set of candidates who are fresh, young, talented, committed, principled individuals who will lead the state into a new era. Therefore, I have full faith in the voters, and I think they will give us their blessings on voting day.
Congress was in the ruling in the past, and what has Congress done then? And now, why do you think people should still give their trust to Congress?
You see the long list of what the Congress has done, right from creating the state, and initial years were quite challenging, but yet we had majority, and we did whatever best we could do in the state, and people remember that. The question is the entire Northeast. Today, the kind of politics we are seeing, 10 years ago it was not like that. So, people are aspirational, young people want to have a better future. And unfortunately, those who have been in power here in Shillong for the last 5 years have not been able to deliver. Their internal bickering, their political ambitions got the better of them. So we are committing ourselves to a manifesto. We will deliver on whatever we promised, and those are issues that are important to the voters.
Talking about manifesto, do you think that this elections we're seeing a lot of political parties trying to woo the voters by offering some money, like you have 3,000 for every women to every, and similarly TMC with their My card and all different cards, and then even NPP also with their kind of offering that they have.
I can't speak for other parties, but I can tell you that whatever we promise in our manifestos, whether it's Congress rule states, like we have just won election in Himachal Pradesh, and whatever we had promised in the first cabinet meeting of the state, we delivered on that. So Congress has a very long track record of commitment and delivery. Therefore, what we are doing is empowering people, and the state's resources must be given to the people who deserve it the most. If we give some financial help to women in a household, they run the house, they pay the bills, they know exactly how much support they need. And if India has made things impossible to purchase, look at the price of diesel, petrol, cooking gas, food items. It's never been like this before. The country is facing the highest unemployment ever recorded unemployment rate. These are all government figures. So therefore, on all these indices, the BJP and NDA government have actually failed in performance. They may be good on rhetoric, they may be good on media management, on spending money, but on the ground delivery, the BJP has actually failed in its performance. The Congress has a different track record. I don't want to go to history, but Dr. Manmohan Singh's government and this government, if you compare, 140 million people were lifted out of poverty. And today what we're seeing in government of India, BJP, is that the gap between rich and poor has become almost unscalable. It has become so much. So therefore, people understand, whether it's Narega, right to education, right to health, right to information, all those rights, Mrs. Sonia Gandhi and Manmohan Singh in Delhi were able to provide that. BJP is all about GST and demonetization and farm laws and so on and so forth. But here, this state, I think, will benefit if we have a Congress government. And I'm saying this as someone who has seen many governments and many chief ministers. The Congress is well placed. And I'll say again in the end that on voting day, despite all the considerations that our opponents may offer, the Congress party and its manifesto and its candidates will be winning combination for Meghalaya.
The BJP has claimed that it will form the next government in Meghalaya, claiming that...
The BJP is not claiming that they get majority.
Yeah.
They're claiming they form government.
No, they're claiming that...
Also during the
Prime
election
Minister
campaign.
has become a household name in Meghalaya.
The Prime Minister every Prime Minister is a household name. I think whether Dr. Manmohan Singh or Indira Gandhi ji or any Prime Minister, everybody knows who they are. But what matters is what he or she delivering to the common man. Is he adding money and income to our pockets? Is he giving us more jobs? Is he giving us more social security? Is it only speeches and propaganda and posters and voting and WhatsApp messages? Or is it something more than that? That's what the question is.
During the election campaign, that BJP leaders has said that Congress is not the factor and will not be the factor in the 2024 also.
BJP said the same thing when we were campaigning in Himachal Pradesh. Right from Mr. Nadda, the Home Minister, Mr. Yogi, the Prime Minister in a small state like Himachal campaigned day in, day out. But we defeated them comprehensively. And that is a Hindi-speaking state where they had, again, the double engine phenomena that they were talking about. So we defeated them before, we defeat them now also. But the funny thing that this lady was telling us that BJP says they'll form the government. They are not saying they'll get majority. Now that tells you the designs of the BJP and how they want to operate here. Rest, I think people are smart enough to understand.
सचिन जी, जिस तरह से अगर मेघालय की बात करें तो आप बोल रहे हैं न्यू फेसेस को आप प्रमोट करते हैं, तो अभी जैसे इंडियन पॉलिटिक्स की बात करें तो इस पे एक्सपीरियंस फेसेस की जरूरत होती है, जबकि यहाँ पर बिल्कुल कोई नया एक्सपीरियंस या कोई एमएलए नहीं है, तो आप किस तरह से इस इश्यूज को एड्रेस करेंगे, कैसे सामना करेंगे?
कांग्रेस पार्टी के नेता यहाँ पर बहुत पुराने हैं, लेकिन जो कैंडिडेट्स हैं उन नए लोगों को मौका, जब तक आप नए लोगों को मौका नहीं दोगे तो कैसे फ्रेश लोग आएंगे? इसलिए कांग्रेस ने बहुत सोच समझकर यंग लोगों को मौका दिया है, लेकिन कांग्रेस के जो नेता हैं, जो कांग्रेस का यहाँ पे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है, पार्टी है, वो तो बहुत पुरानी है, तो वो अनुभव हम लोगों के पास है, लेकिन जो एमएलए बनकर विधानसभा में जाएंगे उन लोग नए लोग बने, फ्रेश लोग बने। और ये हमारी पार्टी में भी शिविर चिंतन जी का अधिवेशन होने वाला है रायपुर में, वहां पर भी हम लोग चाहते हैं कि नौजवान लोगों को जिम्मेदारी वाले पद दिए जाएं, ताकि वो आने वाले समय जो देश नौजवान है, सोसाइटी नौजवान है, तो पार्टी का जो नेतृत्व और जो लीडरशिप उसको भी नौजवान होना चाहिए।
सचिन जी एक चीज बताइए कि आप कह रहे हैं कि यंग लोग, हमने कांग्रेस के बहुत से राज्यों में ऐसा देखा है कि यंग लोगों को मौका दिया गया लेकिन उनको ऊपर आने का मौका नहीं दिया गया, तो क्या मेघालय में ऐसा होगा कि जो यंग है उनको आने का मौका दिया जाए?
यंग लोगों को जब टिकट दिए हैं तो वो जीत कर आएंगे, जब सरकार बनेगी तो भागीदारी उनकी होगी, ऑब्वियसली होगा। जब सारा हमारे 60 में से 80-90% young लोग हैं, so most of the people who will win obviously will get a chance to work in the government. It's obvious. And I think the idea is to have a fresh start. We've been in the last 5 years, lots of pull and pressure, lots of allegations, lots of finger pointing. Start fresh. Congress will form a government here, and then the state of Meghalaya can look to a new start.
You'll be going with December CM.